Every 15 seconds, a tourist in Europe becomes a victim of crime. It could be a stolen bag, a pickpocket, or something much worse. Even in Europe, where the streets look safe and the cities are full of charm, danger can be hiding in plain sight. Some of the most visited countries in Europe are now seeing big increases in crime, protests, and even violence. But most travel guides won't tell you that. In this video, we're going through the 10 most dangerous European countries to visit in 2025, based on real travel warnings, crime reports, and safety rankings. Stick around till the end, because the last country might completely change your travel plans. Also, like and subscribe so you don't miss more videos like this. 10. Belgium. Belgium is known for beautiful medieval towns and famous chocolates. But there's a side to the country that travelers should be aware of. While Brussels, the capital, is a major political hub and popular tourist destination, petty theft is a common problem in crowded tourist spots, especially around the Grand Place and train stations. Tourists are often targeted by pickpockets, and while these crimes might seem harmless at first, they can quickly ruin a trip. Belgium's crime rates have been rising in recent years, and the country has seen an increase in violent incidents, particularly in larger cities. In some neighborhoods, gang violence and drug-related crimes are rising, adding to safety concerns. In certain areas, social unrest is also common, which can make navigating the streets more challenging, especially for tourists who may not be familiar with the local language or customs. Public transportation can also be a hotspot for crime, with reports of thefts on buses and trains. It's important to stay alert and keep your valuables close. Additionally, Belgium has had its share of political tension and instability, particularly due to its diverse regions and differing languages, which sometimes lead to protests and civil unrest. 9. Turkey. Turkey is a fascinating country, with stunning landscapes alongside European and Middle Eastern influences. However, it is a place where travelers need to be cautious about rising security risks. There are areas of political instability and violence that travelers should be aware of. In recent years, protests and demonstrations have become common, particularly in major cities. These protests can sometimes turn violent, leading to unexpected disruptions in your travel plans. Most tourists stick to popular spots like Istanbul or coastal resorts. Travelers should be aware that these areas can have pockets of tension. For example, in some tourist districts, there has been an increase in scams targeting foreigners, including fake tour guides or overpriced goods. Certain regions in Turkey, especially near the Syrian border, are considered high-risk areas due to ongoing conflicts and military activity. Safety concerns also extend to personal security, as petty crimes like pickpocketing and scams are becoming more frequent, particularly in crowded tourist attractions. Understanding the current political climate and knowing where not to go can help ensure a safer experience in Turkey. 8. Portugal. Portugal is known for its stunning beaches and beautiful cities, but there are a few risks to keep in mind. Pickpocketing is common in busy tourist areas like Lisbon District and Porto. In crowded places, thieves often target tourists, so it's important to stay aware of your surroundings, especially in busy spots like train stations and markets. Scams are also something travelers should be cautious of. Fake tour guides and overpriced services are a common issue in popular tourist spots. Some street vendors may also sell counterfeit goods or charge much higher prices than what's reasonable. To avoid these problems, it's a good idea to book tours and services through reputable companies and do some research beforehand. Another concern is car theft, particularly in tourist areas or near beaches. If you're renting a car, be sure to lock it and avoid leaving valuables inside, as thieves often target rental vehicles. While protests are rare, they do occasionally happen in larger cities like Lisbon and Porto, often due to political or economic reasons. These protests can disrupt traffic or public transportation, so it's best to stay informed and avoid large crowds. Despite these risks, Portugal is still an enjoyable destination for travelers, as long as you stay cautious and prepared. 7. The United Kingdom. The United Kingdom, with its iconic landmarks, is a top destination for travelers. However, there is certain areas that can pose safety risks, especially for tourists unfamiliar with the local environment. Major cities, like London and Manchester, have experienced increasing rates of violent crime in recent years, particularly in neighborhoods that are not typical tourist areas. Gang violence and street robberies are an ongoing concern, especially in poorer districts. There has also been an uptick in knife crime in certain urban areas, making it essential for travelers to stay aware of their surroundings. Public transportation is generally safe, but in major cities, you might find yourself dealing with petty criminals targeting tourists on buses or trains. Additionally, political divisions, especially surrounding Brexit, have led to some social unrest in various parts of the UK. Protests and demonstrations, often related to economic or political issues, have become more frequent in recent years. They can disrupt travel plans and create a tense atmosphere. Overall, while the UK remains a popular and generally safe destination, tourists should always have caution and stay updated on any potential risks. 6. Spain. Spain has long been a favorite destination for American travelers, offering beautiful beaches, vibrant cities, and rich culture. But as with many popular tourist spots, there's a darker side to the country that travelers need to consider. In major cities like Barcelona and Madrid, the number of pickpocketing incidents has increased over the past decade. Crowded tourist spots such as La Rambla and the Plaza Mayor can be hotspots for thieves looking to snatch wallets, phones, and bags from unsuspecting tourists. In recent years, Spain has also faced protests, often linked to political or social issues, which can sometimes become disruptive and violent. Travelers to Spain should also be mindful of natural disasters, as certain areas of the country are prone to wildfires during the dry summer months. Despite these concerns, Spain remains a beautiful country, and by staying aware of local conditions, you can still have a great experience. 5. Greece. Greece is a dream destination for its beautiful islands, ancient ruins, and sunny beaches, but there are safety concerns for travelers. Major cities like Athens and Thessaloniki have seen a rise in crime, especially pickpocketing in busy areas like the Acropolis and markets. Tourists should be extra cautious in crowded spots, particularly on public transportation or when visiting famous landmarks. Social unrest is another concern, with protests and strikes common due to economic issues. Especially in Athens, some protests have turned violent, so it's important to stay informed and avoid large crowds. Organized crime can be a problem in certain areas, particularly on some islands. Drug trafficking and other illegal activities are more common in smaller towns. Additionally, Greece's economy has caused some instability, leading to higher unemployment and occasional spikes in crime. Finally, while most tourist areas are well equipped, rural parts of Greece may have poorly maintained roads and limited amenities. Wildfires are also a risk in the summer months, especially in forested or rural regions. Greece remains a fantastic destination, and with caution, travelers can still enjoy a safe and memorable trip. 4. Netherlands. The Netherlands is known for its beautiful canals and vibrant cities, but it also has its share of risks that travelers should be aware of. Amsterdam is a major hotspot for tourists, but has also become notorious for petty crime, especially pickpocketing. Tourists often fall victim to thieves in crowded areas like the Dam Square and the busy train stations. Many of these criminals work in groups, distracting victims while others steal valuables, which can quickly spoil a visit. Another issue travelers may face is the increasing number of scams that target tourists. Common scams include overpriced taxis, fake tickets for tours or events, and misleading advertising for services. Visitors should be cautious in such areas, particularly late at night. On top of the crime, there have been rising tensions regarding immigration and cultural issues in some parts of the country. This has led to occasional protests and social unrest, especially in urban centers. These protests can cause traffic delays and disrupt plans, so it's always a good idea to check the local news and avoid areas where large crowds are gathering. Overall, being cautious about your surroundings is key to having a safe visit. 3. Italy. Italy is often considered one of the most beautiful countries in Europe, famous for its art, food, and history. However, like many popular tourist destinations, Italy has seen an increase in crime, particularly in large cities like Rome, Milan, and Florence. Pickpocketing is the most common crimes targeting tourists, and crowded tourist spots like the Colosseum and the Vatican are prime locations for thieves. Aside from petty theft, Italy also faces some challenges with organized crime, particularly in southern regions like Naples and Sicily. In these areas, tourists may encounter scams or be approached by individuals who work as part of larger criminal groups. In some cases, violence tied to organized crime has spilled over into public spaces. Political instability, especially in certain regions in the south, can also be an issue. Protests and demonstrations occur regularly, particularly in response to economic and social issues. Though most protests are peaceful, they can sometimes turn disruptive and lead to unexpected delays or detours for travelers. Additionally, Italy's reputation for corruption in politics and law enforcement can make it difficult for travelers to navigate certain situations safely. While Italy remains a top destination for many, understanding these risks and staying alert can help you avoid trouble. 2. Ukraine. Ukraine is a country full of vibrant culture and beautiful landscapes, but it is important to understand the safety risks when planning a visit. The ongoing conflict between Ukraine and Russia, especially in the eastern regions, has made certain parts of the country high-risk areas for travelers. Travelers should avoid regions near the conflict zones. The Ukrainian government advises against travel to some of the eastern regions, where there is a high level of military activity. In addition to the political instability, petty crimes such as scams are also a concern, particularly in tourist-heavy areas like Kyiv and Odessa. Tourists may be targeted by thieves in crowded spots or approached by scam artists offering fake services or overpriced tours. It is always important to stay vigilant against violent crime, especially when traveling on public transport or through less populated areas. Another concern is the country's infrastructure, which can be unreliable in certain regions. Roads outside of major cities may be poorly maintained, and public transport can sometimes be difficult to navigate. The political situation and infrastructure issues make careful planning essential for a safe trip. Ukraine's cultural treasures and hospitable people continue to make it an appealing destination for those willing to take the necessary precautions. 1. France. France is one of the world's most visited countries, attracting millions with its rich history, beautiful landscapes, and world-class cities. However, safety concerns exist. Particularly in major cities like Paris, an issue is the rise of scams targeting tourists. Travelers should be wary of street vendors selling fake tickets or offering overpriced tours. Violent crime is an occasional concern in some neighborhoods, especially in cities with higher crime rates. Pickpocketing is a common issue, especially in crowded tourist areas like the Eiffel Tower, the Louvre, and busy train stations. Thieves often operate in teams, making it easy for them to steal wallets or phones without detection. So tourists should be cautious in these busy locations. In addition to petty crime, there has been an increase in social unrest in certain areas, particularly in Paris. Protests, often linked to political or economic issues, are a common sight in the capital and other major cities. Travelers should avoid areas with large demonstrations and stay updated on local news to avoid unexpected disruptions to their plans. However, with proper precautions, France remains a beautiful destination where tourists can enjoy its beauty and culture.